Charles Gibbons was an inmate at one of our facilities and locally. And Charles, when he was like 3 or 4, fell down a set of steps and had a severe head injury. Now, Charles was not like, you see people get in trouble and they try to use their mental ability or capacity as excuses and whatnot. Somebody, well, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good.
He's got the level of an 8th grader or something like that. Charles was severely cognitively, he was almost nonverbal. He had the mind of about a 5 or 6 year old, and he lived with his mother. And the mother had a home health care nurse come in, and for whatever reason, Charles had never been violent in his whole life, and I think he was in his 40s when this happened. He murders the home health care nurse. And so they initially rule him mentally incompetent because obviously, there's something wrong with him. And then they redid it and ruled him mentally competent. And his attorney pled him guilty to first-degree murder, which is pretty much over the top. Probably should have been a second degree, but neither that, whatever. But he's put into this institution, and he dies. And he had one sister that lived out of state, and the sister, about 3 weeks after her brother died, the warden had called her and said, your brother died of natural causes. And a couple, 3 weeks after that, she gets a call from a lady that says, hey, my boyfriend's an inmate. He saw what happened. Charles didn't die of natural causes. 5 guards beat him, and he died as a result of that. Well, the sister was somewhat skeptical, and the woman describes the beating. The girlfriend describes the beating to her. So she sends off for the autopsy, and the autopsy almost matches what this woman described to her as far as injuries. Well, then she gets back with them, and they go, oh, well, no, he fell. So she gets hold of some attorneys. The attorneys get hold of me, and we didn't know. I had to find the girlfriend, vet her as far as if she's legit. And then we had the inmate, state police come in, polygraph the inmate witness. He passes with flying colors. And basically, they took him into a shower, and he comes out with 4 broken ribs on the front, 4 broken ribs on the back, and a punctured spleen. And he's put in his cell. We have video from inside the prison, and he bleeds to death in his cell. So for the longest time, all the guards were put on administrative leave with pay. Eventually, of the 5 guards, I think 2 retired and the others resigned. The feds were involved. There was never any criminal charges. Nobody was charged with anything. And then in the civil case, it was a jury trial, and the jury did not rule in favor of Charles Gibbons' family. They got hung up on, well, if his spleen was punctured, he should have died in the shower instead of his cell. It's a jury trial. You never know how they look at things. So that's what they decided. But interesting enough, in my investigation, I started seeing all these cases of people ended up in the hospital in critical condition with hypothermia. And I'm like, what is up with this? So as we interviewed people and different ones, what I found out was that, like, if you were making these guards mad, they would throw water on you and get you wet and put you in cells where they controlled the doors, and they would put you in a cell at night or in the wintertime wet and open the windows up, and they would freeze you, to the point of critical condition hypothermia is a form of punishment. It was a lot of abuse there in that facility. not only to Mr. Gibbons, and I'm not forgiving what Gibbons did. It's terrible, but he was given a life sentence. He's there to serve his time. I don't want anybody living like the country club in prison by any means, but nobody deserves to be taken to the shower and beat and stomped as described by the inmate witness and dying, or people getting water thrown on them and tortured in that manner by freezing them. That's wrong, no matter what they're in prison for.